So we moved to Dallas, Texas almost 16 years ago, and it hasn't been all sunshine and roses. And on this video, we're going to give you our pros and cons of living in Dallas, Texas. So stay tuned.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Patrice.
And today we are going over our pros and cons of living right here in Dallas, Texas. Like Patrice mentioned, we relocated here 16 years ago. Wow. And like I said, it hasn't been, there's been some good, some bad, and some ugly. So if this is your first time on our channel, we keep it real in real estate. We are a local real estate team right here specializing in Dallas, Texas. And we do videos once a week on what it's like to live, work, and play right here in the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yep, and don't forget to give us a call, text, or email. Whatever you got to do to get a hold of us, just get a hold of us anytime, day or night.
Absolutely, and then also hit that dream home form so we can get you started on your new dream home. So let's get into kind of the pros and cons. First of all, one of the major pros that everybody's going to talk about right from the jump is the cost of living. And we're guilty of that. We've done cost of living videos, etc. But the cost of living is a big factor in moving to Texas and Dallas in particular, but it's not all that cheap anymore.
No, it really isn't.
No. So one of the things when we're talking about Dallas, we're talking about the Dallas Metro, right? So we're talking mainly about the suburbs that you all have heard about: McKinney, Frisco, Plano, South Lake, Flower Mound, etc. So when we talk about cost of living, Dallas, the city of Dallas has some cheaper housing. But in general, the housing in the Dallas-Fort Worth and the suburbs are not as cheap as everybody thinks. Yeah. So bestplaces.net does a survey, and they kind of rank cost of living, and they do it as 100 is on par, right?
Yeah.
And so Dallas is like at 101 or something like that. But if you look at Frisco's like 128. South Lake's 168. So there are, that's 68% above the national average for cost of living, 28% above the national average for cost of living. So it's not all just cheap houses out here and everybody's living the life, especially lately. If you've been following the real estate market in 2021, I don't have to tell you how crazy the market is. It's like this all across the nation, and Dallas in particular is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it really is.
But there are some cool areas. So on the pro side, places like Forney, places like Melissa, Texas, Anna, Texas. On those outskirts, you're finding anywhere, Anna, for example, 97 out of 100. So they're actually 3% lower than the national average. So that's where you can really get a really good bang for your buck. But if you're looking to move to Frisco, Plano, McKinney, Prosper, South Lake, Flower Mound, Colleyville, Capel, those sort of things, you are going to pay a premium.
Yeah.
Now, it's not as bad as some places.
Yes, but the nice thing about Anna is it really isn't far from McKinney, and the 75 gets you right where you need if you need to get to downtown, or gets you to Plano pretty quick. I mean, it's really in a good location.
Yeah, it's really a true hidden secret, strictly because you do like Patrice was saying, it's just north of Melissa. You jump down that 75. That 75 will get you to the 121, which will get you into that Frisco Plano headquarter area, or straight shot into downtown. So that is a nice area. But like I said, true cost of living, everything is really based on cost of living. When you're factoring that in, is all about housing prices, right? And the housing prices have gone up tremendously in the last several months, in the last year. So I don't want to say that ship has sailed, because it's like this all over, but it is something that you need to be aware of, right?
For sure.
All right, so let's jump into a con. What's a con of living in Dallas?
Probably one of them, I suppose, traffic. Depending on where you're coming from. I know when we came from California, traffic was not a big deal when we got here, because we're used to traffic.
So that's the funny thing. Like you'll see, all these blogs or maybe some YouTube channels or whatever it is that you're searching, and traffic is always brought up as a con. And I don't see it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there are pockets within the Dallas metro that you're going to have lots of traffic and congestion, and that's just because that's the downside of a growing city. I mean,
Yeah.
Dallas in the next decade is going to double in size, so there's going to be lots of growing pains when it comes to traffic. But those are in isolated spots. The traffic going into downtown and stuff is so minor compared to other big cities. Because Dallas is so spread out, we have an advantage over that when it comes to traffic. But yeah, traffic in this case is going to fall under the con because there is some construction traffic, etc.
Yeah, yeah. I think another one that people are concerned about is our property taxes.
Property taxes.
They're higher than some places. Some of our clients come in and they're like, oh, that's not a big deal too. So it just depends on where you're coming from and what you think.
Yeah, property taxes in general, you're going to be paying anywhere between 2 and 3%. That's kind of the standard out here in the Dallas area. But you know, there's a give and take. We don't have state income tax, so you know they have to be able to construct these roads and build these schools and do everything that attracts and all the amenities that everybody wants in a nice working society and nice city. They have to get their taxes somewhere, so there's no secret, right? The one issue in the con with property taxes versus like I said, we don't have state income tax, is that property taxes generally are going to continue going up year over year, whereas because it's based on your assessed value, right? Whereas your income, at least lately in the last 15 years or so, incomes from a national perspective have not kept pace with appreciation. So that's where you can have a little trouble, and it's just something that you need to be aware of. We have, there's homestead exemptions, there's, over 65 exemptions. If you, a little hidden secret to some, if you are a veteran, you get some great tax breaks. And if you're 100% disabled, then you don't pay property taxes,
Correct.
which is huge. Now, one thing that you will pay for is PID and MUDs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right, so that's another thing that is kind of the hidden secret, especially on these newer communities that are expanding across the metro, is a PID or a MUD. And I know in California they call it a Melrose. So whatever it is, it's just an infrastructure tax that you're getting. So that's something to keep aware of as well. In Salina, for example, you can have a tax base of about 2.3%, 2.4%, and then you add that PID and MUD in certain communities, and now you're up to that 2.8%, 2.9%. So just something to keep in mind. Also, one thing that I wanted to keep in mind, like I said, we're going over several pros and cons, and we're going to be jumping around, but stay till the end, because I am going to go over a rant. One of my rants of Dallas-Fort Worth. Patrice doesn't even know this, but I got to get it off my chest. I got to get it off my chest, so stay to the end. Also, if you have some pros and cons, comment below.
Yeah.
Let us know what your pros and cons are. Some things that we don't even maybe think of that you guys consider a pro and con.
Yeah, that'd be good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into, where did we leave off? Did we leave off on a pro or a con?
We left off on a con.
On a con?
Yeah.
So should we get a little more positive?
Give us a pro, Andy.
I would say attractions.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. First of all, there's so much to do out here.
There really is.
We've got 2 zoos, the Dallas Zoo, Fort Worth Zoo, awesome zoos that
They
you
really
can walk
are
around
awesome.
within, a few hours. It's not like the San Diego Zoo where it's an all-day thing. San Diego Zoo is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that if you want that quick in and out with kids, it's perfect. There's so much to do.
Got an aquarium. They've got all kinds of cool, great museums.
There's all sorts of things. We got every sports team you could think of. We got the Texas Rangers for baseball. We've got obviously the Dallas Cowboys for football. We've got the Mavericks for basketball. We've got the Stars for hockey. We've got FC Dallas for soccer.
Yeah.
Anything and everything that you want to do, every major concert act comes through the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We are going to be the number 3rd market in the entire nation come 2030. At least that's what all the projections are. And did you know that there's 15 lakes? 15 lakes in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So if you like your water sports, getting on the jet skis, wakeboarding, just fishing in
yeah.
general. There is not a better place to be than right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
Now
Now you're making me want to go do some fun stuff.
I know, it's
now
getting
that we're
warm.
Allowed, now that we're allowed to get out and about.
Masks are coming off. Let's go. Let's get after it.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about another con.
Another con, probably walkability around here.
There is no such thing.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on where you are. You probably have small amounts of walkability depending on where you live.
Yeah,
But yeah.
You would have to be in uptown, in that Dallas downtown area. Yeah, there's a little bit of walkability, but yeah, for the most part, there is zero walkability.
Yeah.
Everything, like I said, is so spread out. It's like a broken record, right? Everything's spread out, so you are gonna need a car, which brings us to another thing: public transportation. Lack of kind of goes in line with that walkability. So the public transportation is not great in Dallas. There's a couple spots, the DART train you can get in from like Plano to downtown, Irving to downtown, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They have some buses, but it's not like any of the real big major cities that are out there. There's no BART system here. There's no subway system. It's just isn't set up that way. You're going to need a car. So factor that into your budget and cost of living, right? If you don't have if you spend $200 a month on public transportation wherever you're at, you're moving here, you're going to need to up that with your car, insurance, gas. And another con is tolls.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's a
toll.
damn toll around here, right? I mean,
yeah.
It costs us $10 to get into Dallas every time you need to get into Dallas and then back.
You can take side streets, but it's going to take you a while. So depends on if you leave soon enough, you can do it, but you're going to be at stoplights and
time is money.
So, yes.
Time is money. Who has that kind of time? I don't have time to watch trees grow. I definitely don't have time to take side streets all the way into downtown Dallas. I'll tell you that. But those are just some of the cons, right, that we have. Let's get into a little more positivity, right? It's 2021.
I know.
COVID's over, or not over, but you know what I'm saying. We've turned a new leaf.
Life is getting back to normal.
Yeah, so let's glass half full. What's a positive of living in Dallas area?
Probably the people here.
Yeah.
The Southern hospitality here is amazing. I mean, people are, for the most part, you're going to find the few, but for the most part, people are very friendly. And that's the one thing our clients say all the time is how friendly people are, and they've met their neighbors, and they're super happy. And so I love that.
Yeah, it's shockingly how nice. We came from California, so we weren't kind of used to that. Everybody's kind of in their rat race doing their own thing, and here people are just friendly. I mean, we can't even tell you how many times we go and show houses, and the neighbors are out. Hey, are you going to be our new neighbor? And just friendly, telling us about the neighborhood and all that stuff, and our clients love it. One of the funny stories about hospitality, and it kind of goes into the whole weather thing and all that stuff, is one thing that people don't realize is that we get just as much rain here in Dallas as Seattle.
We just get it quicker.
Yeah, we just get it dumped on, right?
It's
Whereas
not just slow.
It's just not that slow drizzle every day. It's just, here you go. The clouds open up. But one funny story, when we first moved here, we had a neighbor, and they were putting a neighborhood barbecue together, and so we were real excited. We got gonna meet some neighbors, gonna have some Texas barbecue. Everything was great. Storm was rolling in, right? And if you've ever seen a storm in Texas, it's no joke, right? These thunderstorms are amazing. But it was our first one that we experienced, and it was like nothing else that we've ever seen. And we were, let's just say we were nervous, right? And so we called the neighbor, and we're like, hey, the barbecue, is it still on? I imagine it's canceled. We'll have to move it next week. Oh, no, come on over, bring your beers, blah, 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 blah. So we're just like amazed that we're even having a barbecue when all this thunder and lightning was going on and all that good stuff. But it's business as usual.
Well, the saying here is, if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes. And that's literally what it was.
Yeah.
It was like,
it was
all
clear.
of a sudden, the storm came through, and then it was gone, and everything was fine. So
yeah, it was blue skies.
but we
after
had no
that.
idea that
we
what
had
was
no
coming.
idea. It was like, oh my God, we thought the world was coming to an end. And then 30 minutes later, we're enjoying some brisket. So
Yeah.
who knew? But that gets to the Southern hospitality, right? We have stories like this all over the place with the hundreds of people that we have helped relocate here. The Southern hospitality, I thought, was always just kind of a overhyped, tourist trap, but it really truly is. The people here are authentic. They really truly enjoy each other's company. And so that was really refreshing and nice to know. I mean, it really truly feels like a fallback to, kind of like the our grandparents era, so
we had people bringing us stuff when we moved in, and
yeah,
things
cookies,
that was nice, and
neighbors coming up with cookies and muffins and stuff like that. We're like, what is this? Is this poisoned?
Yeah,
just throw that. So anyway, so that's just one of the things that we have experienced here in Texas. Another positive, since we're on the positive vibe, is the DFW airport.
Oh yeah.
International airport. It's a direct flight anywhere you want to go. And because we're centrally located in the United States, everything's about a 3-hour flight.
It's true. Yeah.
Everything.
It's true.
You want to get to New York, 3.5 hours. You want to get to LA, 3 hours.
Yeah. Dallas Love Field, though, that's another great airport. It's a lot smaller and super easy to get in and out of. I mean, it's just a straight shot up, and I mean, it's super easy. So you have two options that are fantastic. Yeah.
We talked about all the pros and cons, and we've kind of talked about that Southern hospitality.
I'm worried about the rant.
But here we go. And it kind of contradicts the Southern hospitality. The Southern hospitality is absolutely incredible. It's the truth. I swear to God. Except...
You're always going to have a few.
No, when they get in their cars. People don't talk about it. People are crazy here in their cars. There's a sense of entitlement. There'll be a line where you need to make a right-hand turn, and everybody's making a right-hand turn because everybody coming out of the same housing development or whatnot. And so everybody makes the same right turn every day. But there'll be... people that think their time is so much more valuable than everybody else's, and they cut in at the very end. If you get anywhere, they force themselves in. And if that's not bad enough, God forbid you wave. Hey, sorry, thank you for letting me in, etc. There is none of that.
That is true, yeah.
None of that. I've never experienced anything like it before in my life. And if you're not going 10 miles per hour, 15 miles per hour over the speed limit on the Dallas Tollway, you best not be in that far left lane. I mean, they'll run right past you. You'll be like standing still at 80 miles per hour. So...
Deep breaths. That's all it is.
It's
deep breaths.
But I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about Dallas drivers. But they are out of control.
Yeah.
But if you're in a hurry to get somewhere,
I just let them do their thing.
You just let them do that. Patrice is much
That's
better
what I
at
do.
doing that,
I know.
than I am. But
I just don't have the road rage.
It's just absolutely crazy. It's just the entitlement. It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
I like to think that people have something important or they're I try to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Patrice is my psychiatrist, riding shotgun there. They probably have somewhere to go. It's like every day, every second, every time we hit this thing, everybody has a place to go.
Visiting somebody sick in the hospital. Yeah. We go through this all the time.
And this is a daily occurrence for us, but I'm telling you, the drivers, just be aware of it. And if you're one of those drivers, God forbid, just wave. Hey, thank you for letting me in.
It is a little nerve-wracking when you have young kids driving out in that craziness, for sure. I get a little nervous, but yeah.
It is. So anyway.
There's his rant.
There's my rant. So let me know if you agree, disagree, whatever. Just let us know in the comments below. Give us a like button if you found this helpful at all.
Or if you know any good relaxation exercises.
Yeah, any meditation tips that you can give us would be very beneficial. I need it, believe me. And then until the next time, I'm Andy.
And I'm Patrice.
Take care.